In the life of this government, this is a make or break moment. Having negotiated a delicately balanced peace settlement with the Nationals, Scott Morrison is now hailing the economic opportunities that'll come from reducing carbon emissions. But his plan is a leap of faith, both in substance and political conviction, given the Prime Minister and so many in the coalition have previously shown hostility to ambitious climate action. Scott Morrison's giving a brand to his new resolve to tackle climate change.
The plan is the plan. Our plan in this plan. Our plan charts a uniquely Australian way.
One that comes with old assurances.
It will not shut down our coal or gas production or exports. It will not impact households. It will not cost jobs. It will not increase energy bills.
There is net zero modelling, net zero legislation and net zero unity.
The Prime Minister acknowledging climate policy has been a rough ride for the coalition.
You've seen us wrestle with it. I think that is a badge of authenticity on this plan.
To reach carbon neutrality, the government's banking a 20% emissions cut already achieved. The plan claims a further 40% reduction will come from the existing technology investment roadmap. Think hydrogen and carbon farming. So-called global technology trends are set to slice emissions by another 15%. Australia will still produce emissions, some will be offset, and the last 15% relying on as yet unspecified technologies.
The rate of technological advance is a given.
I've seen more detailed fortune cookies than the document released by the government today.
People shouldn't believe a word of what's in this so-called document because it is a fraud.
Thanks largely to the work of the states and territories, Australia's on track to cut emissions by 30 to 35% by 2030, comfortably above the existing target of 26 to 28%, although there'll be no formal increase to this target.
Because that's the commitment I gave to the Australian people.
But also because he doesn't want to inflame tensions with the Nationals.
This plan is 100% supported by our government. 100% supported by our government.
The Nats party room swung behind the plan, despite Barnaby Joyce's strong reservations and the outright opposition of others.
I am going to campaign against the policy, but I do support the election of a Liberal National Party government.
Which may have just become harder in Queensland.
Have you got any say, Matt? No, you haven't. You're rolled over. You're a dead man walking as far as I'm concerned.
On the eve of an election, they have established themselves as yes men for the Green parties.
Scott Morrison today presented the magic pudding of climate policies. Going carbon neutral, he says, will create tens of thousands of blue-collar jobs, make us all richer and grow the economy. Quite a different story to the one he told at the last election. A credibility gap only bridged if Australians believe him this time around, especially those in regional Australia, where the pressures of a changing economy will be felt hardest. National Rural reporter Kath Sullivan has more.
In the heart of coal country, net zero is a heavy prospect.
I feel concerned for the future. What is going to replace the coal mining industry if it was not there?
This machinery maintenance business employs more than 150 workers. While Canberra tries to weld together a plan to keep them in jobs and reduce emissions, there's scepticism on the workshop floor.
I don't believe there is a plan to sustain our community's future.
I suppose you're taking away locals' jobs, so yeah, I wouldn't advise it.
Rural communities have been burnt before and can rattle off a list of grievances. From Australia's Kyoto commitments to the Murray-Darling Basin Plan and the sale of Telstra. Decades of being dudded, they say, by city-centric policies.
It's a plan for net zero, not absolute zero.
That's why the government's careful to point out the opportunities and incentives this plan presents.
Technology, not taxes. Choices, not mandates.
In the lead up to today's announcement, the Nationals put forward a list of demands to protect regional Australia, including hundreds of billions to underwrite coal projects. We haven't seen that yet. Instead, all it seems the party's been able to secure is an extra seat at the cabinet table and a regular 5-year review of decarbonisation's impact on the economy. In many parts, that's already underway. communities speeding ahead of politicians.
Nearly all farmers across Australia, whether you're cropping, dairying, beef, have all had to change their farming practices.
As big exporters, they know the risks of not signing up to net zero.
We will be struggling to sell our product overseas unless Australia has a credible carbon policy.
A policy they'll be watching not only in the regions, but around the world. Kath Sullivan, ABC News, Canberra.